All right, it's Affiliation Podcast, episode 2. We got J Tips in the house. Pash is here. Show Me is on hiatus for now because he just got back in the country, right? So Jay,
what's going on, man?
Like we were just talking, we got chilling, brother. We just like look. I want to get into your story real quick. Now, you're 12 albums deep into a rap career. I think, like from what I saw. Now, I'm not very familiar with your music. I get it, but you started like 2008.
Yeah, man. I would say around like 2008 was when I had the courage to put together a body of work. But before that, I was definitely like rhyming in the park, rhyming in like high school ciphers, and trying to just like, you know, put together 16 just because if I was meeting people in the studio, you wanted to be able to hang. So around 2008 was when I was like, you know what, I want to put together something, and I want to get in the game.
Yeah. Did you get into that DVD scene back then, or was you like, you know,
it was very early. No, man, I was 17, I was 18. I was like my section of the Bronx, like the North Bronx, is like its own little world. Like all we have to like hang up, like our only like claim to fame is like Pusha T is like from Gun Hill Projects, or like Swiss Beats used to live on like 224th or something like that. Like that's all that we had where I was from, to like be like, you know, those are people that we could identify with. So like just me and my friends was just rhyming in like the local park, or trying to put videos on before even YouTube, like the MySpace video player, like like uploading it on that stuff. But like the DVD stuff, that was still like Smack DVDs and stuff. Like I was more like a part of the era that I was just collecting those.
No, Rel from the Bronx too.
Yeah,
I started in the Bronx.
Oh, Rel?
Yeah.
You know.
So like what back then, like what was you listening to? What was like the music?
2007, 2008, I was listening to definitely Lil Wayne.
Everybody was, yeah.
I think Lil Wayne was just killing everything. Definitely Kanye. Trying to really like Frank Billionaire, Stack Bundles.
Oh, damn.
Which I think like
from Philly, right? Back from Philly, right?
Yeah. Like
I remember him.
Jim Jones. I'm trying to think of like, I'm trying to really like, I'm a very nostalgic person. So try to walk you down like my iPod. Like what was on my iPod heavy? Maybe like bunch of like maybe just stuff that wasn't on the internet, like really like that. Maybe like that Piff, kind of just anything that was popping on that Piff at that time. Like a bunch of people just barring you up for 9 minutes, like a bunch of stuff like that.
Jay, you're with you a little bit. You're a good friend of my friend Phil, who's from Harlem. I first remembered your music right around 2011, 2012. This is when ASAP Mob came out, and they just kicked it down, kind of. I'm a producer myself, if you know. I did a lot of early songs and whatnot. We've been following each other for almost 10 years on Twitter.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you got a viral tweet every few days. I know.
Jay, man, I've watched you kind of just evolve into this entrepreneur now. Like you took rap and you didn't just stop there. You know, you kind of just the door down, and you were like, I got to get this money by any means necessary, you know, at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, not so sure, man. I've always looked at music as just an instrument. As much as like I've always loved the grind, I love to put music together, and I love to do stuff. It's like each step of the way, my reason always kind of just developed. Like, of course, I was making music for, you know, to get shows. I was making music to get booked in South by Southwest. I was making music to end up on blogs. I was making music to make a few dollars. And I think when I started to make music to make merchandise was when I seen like a whole lane for myself that I was able to really just run down the hallway in.
Yeah. You know what I thought was genius when you did that bespoke Nike? And I saw when I went to your YouTube page, I saw the thing. I was like, oh, he had a collab before this thing. And I legit, like, this, you know, literally yesterday when I was doing all this research on you, you did a whole video around that, this bespoke, and it's a fire shoe. I would wear that shoe because I like crazy shoes like that, the color block and all that. But what was the mindset you had going into that? Like, all right, you're about to drop a whole rack on a bespoke Nike. were you just trying to get your money's worth out of the whole experience, or were you trying to go in there with getting a collab in mind, like trying to come out of there with a collab?
Well, definitely, I think the end all goal was definitely to end up on a big brand's radar. So I think that's like definitely what I would love to have done. But I think around that time, like the music industry was very, very like bundle heavy. It was very much like, you know, people like Kanye, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Travis. Like whenever they put out music, it always came with the merchandise. It came with a big brand collaboration. It came with a shoe. It came with something else. So I was just like, how on my level can I package something together where it's like, not only is J-Tips putting out music and he's trying to develop like a capsule. He's trying to have moments. He's trying to have something outside of the era that, you know, we all seem like we've come around the same times, the Linkin Bio era. Like I was trying to be more than the Linkin Bio era of what else is he doing? Like he's promoting an album. He's going to drop a button. He's going to drop a hat. He's going to do this. And when it came to the bespoke, I was just like, how can I grab some energy with doing something that maybe someone else isn't doing right now in my lane. And I just had a crazy idea. One day I dropped a little bag off at Nike and I waited for it to come just to put the music out, to be honest. I was like, when the shoe arrives, we're gonna hit that TuneCore and we're gonna put this album out.
So how'd that work out? Because I know people were excited for the shoe. Did it correlate well with the music that you're putting out? Did you grab more fans? What happened with that?
I think there's a such thing as like overworking. I think maybe in the first month or so, it was like, it isn't about the music. Like I remember even having strong conversations with my friends and they're like, yo, people are talking about the shoe, but they're not mentioning the album. People are wondering if the shoe's coming out, but they're not mentioning you as a musician anymore. Like I remember even like those think pieces coming up about like Nike should work with J-Tips or look at what J-Tips did to package this and do that. It not even mentioning me as a musician would get so much pushback that like people in my circle would be trying to reach out to people like, yo, they got to include you as a musician in this. And they got to say that you've been rapping. They got to say you got 13 albums. They got to say that you've been doing this for this long. And it became like a big conflict. So, cause it was like overworking, like you waking up on the sites that I've been emailing people from Complex for 15 years. I've been emailing people from all of these sites for a long time. And now they posting the shoe talking about, you know, a custom out of New York City or this kid J-Tips on it. So it really blew up in a way that I was having a look in the mirror and I was just like, I'm conflicted because it isn't promoting my music, but it's promoting me. Like I'm watching my 7,000, 8,000 followers jump to 9 and 10 and 11 and 12, but it's not like my streams are going up and stuff. So I was just really battling those feelings of like, damn, I did something that I thought was like a tool, but it's like, it's working, but maybe it's not like bringing in how I thought it was going to be.
Well, like, yeah, that's interesting because we encourage, like when we work with artists directly, we encourage them to be more social and do things like what you did to get their music going, even if they're like have the buzz, you know, marketing budgets and all this major labels. They're crazy. They'll spend 50 racks on a guy who has less streams than, you know, some kid in his freaking, you know, like bedroom making records. But, like you being a serious artist, like 13 albums deep. I looked up last album you put out was in 2021, right? The Savior 2?
Savior 2, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Since then, I know things have picked up on the design end, like the shoes and the hats and all that. Mm-hmm. Is the focus still music, or are you more into what you're doing now?
I think the soul is still music. I think sometimes the focus has to be on the work, just because when you're working with these projects and like you got shoes coming and you're working 19 months, 18 months out, sometimes it's just so like demanding that I'm trying to find my relationship with music again. But I'm definitely like still working and trying to put together things and still taking in beat packs and going through them and starting things. But I think that part of me that would finish a mix or have 75 versions of a mix and really just be going through different things and going to rehearsal studios just to bounce different sounds and stuff. I haven't connected myself with that person. And I'm trying to get back to that.
Or no, I get you. Yeah, I get you. So like with that refocus, so all right, let's take a step forward. Actually, like when you talk, you got years of music. Did you, with the music stuff, did you make any connect? Maybe hold in your bag, like you had like Chris Brown rocking your stuff, many artists, see Fab rocking your stuff. Like,
yeah,
make any connection there? We're like, hey, I'm gonna keep this in my bag. Maybe ask that for that collab, that beat, whatever later on. Have they heard your music? Like, are these types of people into the J-Tips total persona?
Man, it's crazy. The one thing that you guys can both ask Phil, like, I think I'm like the most humble person in the world when it comes to like my lyrical ability. Where like other people would be like, yo, he rhymes. He rhymes. He makes music and stuff. So it's been times where like I would make certain connections and then people would be like, oh yeah, we know you make music. Like I was at a concert with like Amazon Music reps and they were like, yeah, we know you make music. Like you should send up some stuff. And I was just like, oh, all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm here on just a whole nother just chilling kind of stuff. But it was a long time and like even my like beginning stages of like how I was just trying to hustle and trying to get myself out there, where I would like make hats and I would make like resell shoes and stuff, and I would try to get like the connect to the label and or to connect at a blog site, like not on some payola stuff, but on some like, yo, if you ever need like a sneaker plug, hit me up if you ever need. So I think even before I started really like selling stuff and taking things off, like I already had like a lot of different like people from labels and stuff kind of already tapped in, because I wasn't afraid to be like, yo, if you need something, let me know. If you need help, trying to be like that resourceful, like plug to kind of all things. But I wish I was that person that was like, yo, I rhyme or I do this and I do that. Because it was a like between me and you guys, I don't know if I've ever shared this. Like it was a time maybe around the time I made the Bespoke where like DJ Clark Kent was like, yo, I've known you for this amount of time and you've never tried to send me no music. You've never tried to like ask me what I thought about anything. And I'm just like, yo, I'm not that kind of person. Like I feel like my relationship with music is my relationship with my fans and my network and the people that I've curated to be support, like real grassroots. Like I just haven't really like, I don't really tap in with people and be like, yo, hey, let's make something shit. Like I would rather be in a room with like Drake and like kind of just act like I belong than like kind of like try to work a record. And that's probably like just the kind of person I've always been though.
Yeah, and that has the pros and the cons, obviously, but like where you're at in life right now is amazing. So you get to, you could benefit from both sides. Because once you get to a certain status with what you're doing, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, they drop an album tomorrow, fans of your sneakers, your hats, whatever, will resonate towards that. My next question,
they'll tap in.
How did you get here? Like one day, and this during the pandemic time, right? I started buying fitted hats like crazy. So I'm sure you're caked up off of a lot of fitted hat money to 2020 to 2021. But then like, how did that all happen? Like you're all these celebs start wearing your stuff. You're featured all over the fashion things. Like where did that connection happen from being a New York street rapper to that? Like where's that crew?
Yeah, I think for I guess each project I've put out, like musically, I've tried to at least run a t-shirts at least, like, like when my album was called Volume 10, it was like at least some stuff that said like 10 on it. When I did like the my 11 Winners album, I tried to have a bunch of stuff that said like 11 Winners. So when I dropped The Savior, I was really just I was also at the same time without knowing, just learning how to scale at the right time. Like how can someone buying 3 hats pay for another 12 hats? How can someone buy 10 hats pay for the next 30 hats? And I just think that when the pandemic happened, I think everybody was just so much on their phone. There was just so much tapped in that it was already things that I was already just trying to just kind of get like a new flavor of the month. Like I was hitting up hat stores trying to get something rare. Like I was trying to get like just special colors and different things. And I think that's also like in the hat game where like maybe people don't give me enough credit for. Like, man, I was almost like old school eBay kind of stuff, like trying to find rare hats, going to like, I'm ordering hats from Australia, ordering hats from London, ordering hats from California. And by the time I get like 8 of them, I'll be able to like, limited edition tomorrow. And I just think during the pandemic, I created such a demand for myself where it's like those 8 hats were gone in a minute. And then like, you know what? Now I got to spend another 2 weeks trying to get another 20 and 30. And then before you know it, like my embroidery place shouldn't even been open during the pandemic, man. They always mention that to me. They seen me go from bringing 6 hats to 400 hats in a month. So it was just constant of, like you said, people at home, like piquing interest and like, oh shit, this kid is traveling. He's doing pop-ups during the pandemic. He's doing a whole bunch of shit, like trying to like, and the flights are like $50. So I'm like, yo, if I got 30 hats, if I got 40 hats, at least I could pay for this $80 flight to Chicago. So I'll go to Chicago for the day, take a picture in front of the stadium, holding the hat, and then come back to New York. And it was really picking up online where, like I was peaking numbers I've never seen in likes and views and comments and stuff that I was just started to really get a rush of it. Like, you know what, next week I'm doing a whole Atlanta drop. And then the week after that, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it just really started to pick up. And before you know it, like I had to look myself in the mirror and said, am I still making album merch or am I beginning to run a brand? And I think that it just really, really started to really just go crazy. And then when I did like a New York pop for like Halloween, like we're talking about like the world getting shut down in like March, April, and then by the time like I hit New York in like October for the first pop-up, man, it probably was like 800 people online, and just it's been crazy.
That's crazy. Good.
When it came to like, how important do you think like Twitter was to just market it? Was it Instagram or Twitter that really helped you out with it?
Man, I think it was, for me, it had to be Instagram. I think the shoes has like caused like a resurgence in my Twitter, but like Instagram, man, like people were really, really just hanging on to everything, man. Like I was able to post like an address to a pop-up 30 minutes before, and 100 kids already there and out. Man, like Instagram was really just becoming just such a tool. I don't know if like people just had the notifications on. I don't know if it was in Trump bucks or unemployment. I don't know what it was, but people were really tapped in. So I felt like the obligation to just continue doing it, where most people probably would look at it like, yo, if I just sold 100 hats to the minute, I got a little bit of money, I'm going to go on vacation, I'll buy myself something nice. I was just like, no, let me turn this 100 hats to 600 hats and 1,000 hats. And then by the time that kind of just kept going, man, that's when I got approached to do like an official colorway with like Hat Club. And from that's when I started getting like hired by stores to do stuff. So just like, I just started climbing the ladder of just what I was able to do with hats before even like I got the opportunity to even work on the shoe.
So with the hats, like when you were doing them yourself, well, you are doing yourself still, right? You have to get with the licensing and all that. Like I never really understood how that all works. Like, oh, you get the 5950 hats, right? And then what's next? How do you get the licensing from the MLB and the
man? I was doing what the equivalent of like sneaker reselling was. I was going to hat stores and I was buying out their whole stock. I was saying, let me get every Yankee hat you got. Yeah, let me get every Yankee hat you got. Let me get every this one now. Man, I was doing it in every state.
Sorry. So you started with just doing the patches, like the
the Savior hat, like these. Yeah. So I was doing this stuff, man, and I was just taking them to, at first, like I would get like my samples made in lids, and then I had to Google like embroidery spots like in New York, and that's when I found like people that had a very much cheaper price. And then I was literally, and I think that's also how like the game got disrupted. Like, I'm gonna take my props. Like I disrupted the hat game so much.
Oh, you did,
because when it comes to production of a hat, like for a hat store to make an order, like, hey, I want to make a Florida Marlins hat tomorrow. It takes 60 days to come. Man, I'm buying hats on Monday, and then my embroidery shop is finishing them on Thursday. So I'm able to buy hats on Monday. So it's like I'm able to do a drop on Friday, go back to the hat store Monday, Tuesday, or go to a new one, buy whatever they had, take them to my embroidery spot. He's finished on Thursday, and then do another drop on Friday. So that was probably happening for like 6 months. So I was just literally just doing different drops every week, where it was like, it had to be like people reaching out to New Era, like, yo, how was this kid? How was this possible? Who's doing this? How is he doing this and stuff? But I felt like I didn't really had like, it felt like the drug game. Like I just had like a whole entire like lane to myself. And then, you know, of course it wouldn't be sustainable when stores start just ordering the same stuff you're doing or getting more creative. So that's when I started collabing with stores and coming up with my own colors and not just trying to find stuff. And that's when you got to do approvals and you got to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
because this team got wearing right now. This took me, like, this is the Sandstorm. This is during the pandemic. I bought like, Yankee, Mets, and A's. Those are the only hats I wear. But this was a pre-order. It took them it took them almost 90 days. I forgot I ordered it. That's how long it took. And I was like, oh damn, I forgot I ordered like $300 worth of hats or whatever it was. And they just showed up one day. But like, I didn't know it was like that. Like you just like went up and then I should start doing that. That's so crazy. That's some crazy shit. Cause that's just like, you know, you took them and put your patch on or whatever and then sold them. You know?
But the game is so different now, man, because stuff is like, it really is like shoes. Like if I go to a store and I love the hat you wearing so much that I buy them all and I put my stuff on it. Like people in the comments will be like, isn't that the Sandstorm Hat Club? Like that's not your hat. That's their hat. I guess when I was doing that was before like there was known collections and colorways was tied to people and stuff like that. So I kind of got really like took it to another level at the right time.
Yeah. No, that's so you definitely changed the game. That's when I got into it. I heard about you, but then I was like, damn, I ain't buying fitted hats for a minute. I used to get my initials embroidered on the side, all that stuff. Like, once it got into those World Series patches and all that, I was like, oh, boom. I was buying at 1.56 hats a week. I still haven't worn half of these hats, more than half, like forever. Yeah. But that's wild. So how did it translate into? When did you? Besides the bespoke, when did you start talking about doing other collabs? I know you have your own streetwear line and all that. So when did it go into shoes?
Man, so like pretty much. I was before, like I dropped the Savior album with the shoe and stuff. Yeah, I've been collecting shoes since I was young, since I was in high school. Maybe as long as I've been making music as well. And when it came, like I had friends that worked in Nike, and they would be like, "Yo, these execs are coming into town, and they just want people in the community to voice their opinion." So they pretty much just wanted us to let them know what was trash and what wasn't trash and stuff. So, and they'll give us like $100 Nike gift card. So when I started to like attend those meetings and stuff, just cause I was like, yo, let me stay in touch with you. You know, you ever in the city or if I ever go to Portland. I never even been to Portland, but I'm taking people information like, yo, if I'm ever in Portland, I'm gonna stop by the office and I'm just gonna do this. So I had pretty much met someone on one of those meetings that he was like, he worked in like the Air Max division of like Nike and stuff. We just stayed in touch. Like he'll come to New York, we'll kick it. We'll do all of that stuff. And while I was like just pretty much doing all my pop-ups and like doing all this hat stuff like during the pandemic, he had a conversation with one of his old managers that used to work at Nike, and he pretty much let him know like, yo, like, you know, you should see what this kid G Tips is doing and stuff, and like you guys need somebody that can translate that type of energy into like you guys' brain. Like, so like the way he's like doing pop-ups and spontaneous and stuff, because a lot of brands, even with hat stuff, like you kind of know that these hats, no matter what, are going to release at this store. Like stores aren't going to do nothing crazy and go release them in the middle of the park and go to the stadium and do stuff. Like if a Kith is going to do something, it's going to release a Kith. So I guess Saucony and they looked at everything like this kid has created energy because he'll go meet kids in the park. He'll go meet kids at a store. He'll go pop up on someone at their job and take a picture. People stopping him on the street. Like, I think even one of my meetup spots was like at a juice press in the city. Like, I just kind of people pull it up on me. So they were like, yo, we really love the way you kind of curate energy. And if you'd be interested in creating something with us, we'd love to do it with you. And I was just like, yo, man, we could start tomorrow if you want. Like, my dream is to get a shoe. And that's when I kind of like took the first meeting, and like, I just pretty much just kept going from there.
You know what's crazy, Jay? Like, I don't know what it was. I'm one of those guys that I like to do things that are different, right?
Yeah.
So I had a homie that worked over at Saucony, right? And he sent me like 8 pairs of shadows, right?
Yeah.
And I was, I love anything free sometimes, especially. So I just started wearing that. A lot of people were like, "What? You're wearing Sauconys? Like, what's going on?" And the minute you drop that sneaker, they're like, "Yo, he's ahead of the game." Like, you know what I mean? Be on that too, man. Because I don't know if you remember, like you remember this in the late '90s, dude. Like, they were like the New Balance.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Everyone.
I have one pair of Sauconys, the purple tape Raekwons. That's it. And I loved it. Yeah. Or 2 pairs. I think we'll put a couple. I'm not really.
You adore it.
I missed out on yours. I got hip to yours late, and I'm a sneaker. I buy all types of different shoes. Your shoes are fucking fire, bro. And
thank you, man.
I missed out on that whole freaking thing. Now they're going for like 500. So, and that's a Saucony. Now, understand, like, Taz, this is new to you. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But like with collabs, if it's not Nike, it ain't gonna go for more than a couple hundred. It depends on maybe the New Balances, like the Jams, and some of those other ones are rare, like the Slade, Benberry, sometimes whatever it is, but they're rare. But a Saucony going for like 500 is ridiculous. That's unheard of. So you change, you're like, and this is what I respect about what you did. And this says something like this. I just shot my year in review sneaker thing, and I was talking about my predictions for next year and how things are going to change. And you said in one of your interviews, like, people are like tired of the same shit. Like, they're just tired of buying that. Not even say like that, but like the Air Max and Jordan. People got over like Yeezys, and then like it's like how that Ultra Boost wave just went in and out, and then now Adidas are like just there, So it's now people are hungry for new stuff, and I think some of the brands, and I want to hear your perspective on this. I feel like some of the brands, and I think Nike's starting to pay attention to this, are making their shoes more, I want to say, let's just call it user friendly. Like, I love the John Morant, the Devin Booker, like, basketball shoe, because they're wearable casually and on the court, and they're simple palettes. So you can put all types of colors on that. So like if they say, hey, we want to collab with a J Tips and make a colorway, boom, put your own twist on it. The retro, the Vomero 5 that people love. It's a very comfortable shoe, by the way. I wear it every day now. But it's like that type of shoe, amazing for a collab. And when that Dornbecker one came out, that thing was crazy. That was the best one out of the collection. So like, it's like, just going back to what you said, elaborate more on your view of what the sneaker world is going to look like next year and beyond. Like what's going to change up in your opinion, and where do you fit into that?
Man, I think that, it's tough to talk about myself like that, just in third person, but I do think that me being of the community has helped my case a lot when it comes to working with an underdog company, and also being able to tell a story from a unique place, because I do think that as much as like this is still my story, I'm also playing off of knowing what the game is missing too. So like I'm also trying to do something that people are kind of like that's not typically happening. And I do think that people are just tired of the same stories, man. Like I don't want to accuse like any of these big brands for like brainwashing and doing stuff like that, but a lot of this stuff is like just cult following and cult like real like support. I think it's not so much about like the design and the innovation, and so much about like being able to really sell things like it's art pieces. Like the beauty of a good album is art. The beauty of a good like piece of art is its art. Like it's something, but art is as much as it's subjective. It's like how many times can we continue to buy the same thing? How many times can like Nike, I made this example to one of my homies earlier, and I guess people listening can think about this themselves. Like Nike have a Terra Square Air Force One, the same color as the Panda Dunk, which is also the same color as it's also the same color as the Stussy Air Force One. It's also the same color as the Twist Jordan 1.
I never think about that.
All four of those are the same colorway, but have a different story. Like, how long can we just continue to feed into the same BS? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be just some new energy.
Like, how you use pastel colors to me is crazy. Like, when I first saw it, I said, all right, this is different. Like, you know what makes a good sneaker to me is, like, you don't even, like, you know, sneaker collecting now is, like, some people don't wear their sneakers, but with your sneaker, it's like, yo, I could wear these, or I could just hang it up in my man cave type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like really an art piece.
Yeah, that's all. I'm getting me a pair. I'm paying that resale. I have to. But this is, but yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever you do next. I mean, I don't know if you want to, like, are you going to continue to work with Saucony and make more shoes? Are you going to work with any other? And I'm pretty sure you're a hot commodity right now because everybody's saying, a lot of people are saying, I when I looked at videos and some of the people that are in the community I talk to, they put you right up in the top 10 for the year. A couple of dudes said you're number one, but it's weird. Like you didn't get that recognition at Complex. It's kind of pissed me off because I was sitting there like they put to your point, the Panda Terror Squad up there, and it's like, like, why? You know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be like a culture thing, right? And if the culture is telling you they like this, why aren't you co-signing that? Like, that's what I don't get about at least the sneaker. Do you think that has anything to do with the brands influencing them, the resale market, like things like that, or?
Yeah, man, I think it's
gatekeeping.
I think honestly it has a little bit to do with everything, man. I think that when we think about our favorite brands, it has a lot to do with tradition. And I think it also has to do with, like, sometimes our favorite artists, like, we ride with them through a few tough songs, through a few tough albums and stuff, and will defend them to the death and stuff. But I think a lot of the sneaker community is waking up, and I think that especially when it comes to, like, the Complex list, like, man, I like you said, like, I've been already celebrated multiple times for, like, a number one on lists and then not even been mentioned on other lists. So I think we have, like, people that are traditional and they're riding with the Nike is God and Adidas is God kind of people. And then we have the people that are really like, nah, man, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I love them 11s, but I really wear these New Balances every day. I really wear these Sauconys every day. Like, I really, like, am a fan of, like, the way that these other companies are doing it because, you know, like, not to make it seem like it's just me trying to rain on Nike, but a lot of their product for a long time has sold itself, which is a good thing. Like, you never really needed the TV commercials for the Jordans. Like, the Jordans was going to sell out no matter what. You never needed, like, the Air Max 95s to come out with posters all over Times Square and stuff, but they're still going to sell out. So I think now we're in such an era where you're seeing brands really hire agencies and really beef up just the way things get promoted and the way they get seeded and the way that there's real energy and really tap into the communities and tap into, like, designers and creatives and stuff and really go above and beyond. It's just starting to really see people, like, appreciate that stuff. Like, wow, like I really am a fan of, like, this campaign, especially if we're in the industry. Like, you see somebody that's just marketing something properly and beautiful and the photos are beautiful. You can be like, oh man, I don't care what y'all see. This was excellent.
I mean, to your point, I really don't feel they do enough marketing like the way they used to.
Yeah.
I mean, if they like I don't see billboard. I was just in New York, I stayed in Times Square for a few days for meetings, and I did not see one damn sneaker billboard in Times Square, and which is odd. But then also you got to think, like, those moments that those Jordan commercials of Spike Lee, the LeBron commercials, the Penny commercials, all those types of things were special and memories to the youth. That's why those shoes sold. But they don't do that anymore, which is, you know, now they rely on influence. Some of these influencers, they suck. Not to be, you know, this and they, you know, like, with the seeding and all that type of stuff. And I just don't. Well, what bothers me about it is not like I want to. I could buy my own shoes, right? I don't really care if Nike sees me with shoes or not. I've gotten free ones here and there, but at the end of the day, like, what are they really trying to sell? You know what I mean? Like, you have all these new silhouettes that you drop every year. Like, why aren't you having these influencers put on Nike Scorpion? Right? That's your newest Air Max, the hottest, but you don't even put money behind that. It's a $200 shoe. Like, if you saw a hype beast person wearing, like, you know, so many kids, if they see the right influencer wearing that shoe, they go out and buy it. Like they buy every Jordan 11 every year and all that other stuff. But all they do is recycle, like you said, recycle the same junk over and over again, which is wild to me. But I like the fact, I think, you know, I read a couple of things, and I think you mentioned this in your Complex, one of the guys in Complex, I had to be Brendan, talking about, you know, that they're going to refocus and adjust. Yeah. They're going to refocus their attention on like innovation and all that type of stuff, which I think they have sort of. I love going back into sneakers. I seen you wearing, what type of sneakers from the brands right now do you rock on a regular basis or buy or whatever?
Well, me personally, like, not to sound super duper like blessed, but I have worked hard, man. I haven't really bought a lot this year because I've been blessed to get a lot of stuff, but definitely like New Balances, like 990s, the 991s, 993s, and stuff like that. Like I wear those a ton. From Saucony, I wear I would definitely say like the Triumphs. I wear the Triumphs are probably my favorite shoe from them. Like I'm begging them to let me do like a bunch. Like I don't even want to do one or two. I want to do like 5, 6. Like I just love the shoe so much. I want to be able to have a few in rotation. And I also love the what you call it, I'm drawing I'm trying to think of the shoe that I'm drawing a blank on like silhouette names and stuff. The Omni 9. Yeah, the Omni 9 is a beautiful shoe that I think is my next shoe with them that I think is really dope. And then I have stuff coming out with them that people, I can't tell you what model it is because that model hasn't been retroed yet and is going to be retro with me. So just stuff like that. But them, I'm wearing those, like the Omnis and the Triumphs. I'm wearing the most from Nike. I'm wearing the recent like undefeated collab. I forgot the name of the shoe, but it was like Virgil's favorite shoe. I'm wearing like Air Force Ones. I'm trying to think of any other brands I'm kind of wearing right now. And and the Asics, like I'm wearing a pair of Asics right now. It's like the Cayano 14. So like those are just classics. So that's probably what I'm like wearing right now. That's probably the last shoe I bought because I don't really got nobody Asics holding me down right now.
So you really in your sneakerhead bag? no IB shit there.
I just feel like being in this industry now, man, and it like especially being like a newcomer and being somebody that people's always kind of like mostly when people are talking about me right now, they're putting someone on. So like if you're like, yo, this my boy J Tip, check his stuff out, he's killing it with Saucony, he's doing this. Like I don't want to be always like wearing another brand's collab, or I don't always want to be wearing someone else's shoe. Like it's kind of like my ID card right now. So people to kind of like be like, oh yeah, that's definitely him. He got on a pair of Sauconys right now. So just trying to kind of hold it down, like, man, until these other brands start cutting some checks. You know what I'm saying? We'll rep.
You mentioned everything.
You mentioned something about New Balance. Would you design something like a 574, which is like a classic affordable sneaker? Would you actually beef that up? Because that's such a simple silhouette.
Yeah. And to be honest, bro, I would love to work with New Balance. I got a few homies over there. Like shout out my man, Kev Trot, man. Shout out like Jordan over there. Like they work on like the creative side of things for collaborations, and Joe Fresh Goods has like sent me a lot of love, and he just recently sent me his most recent shoe. We just sticking together in this industry, like just sending each other love and stuff. I would love to create over there, man.
That you and Joe are friends. He sent you a pair of those balances?
Yeah, he sent me the Keisha.
Those are dope. It's so crazy that like something as simple as a colorway and he executed it like that. I think you do the same thing. Like, what's your inspiration by, you're from New York, right? So it's a lot of grind there, right? You're left city stuff. It's not like you're from California. What makes you choose so many pastel type colors, man? Like, we don't have that inspiration like down there. Like, in California, you might see these colors. Hawaii, like make such a summer style, spring style shoe, like this. It felt sensory at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Feel good, literally.
Like I was saying, man, I just think I'm so much of a nostalgic person, and like my collection, me collecting shoes growing up, they were tied to memories. They were tied to different parts of my life, and they were tied to me trying to get, whether I was trying to get some attention at school, or I was just trying to have my best fit on to go perform at SOBs. Like I wanted to break some necks. And I think that, like, I've learned in that process how to kind of translate different colors and hues and Pantones and emotion to just colorways. And I think that I've been able thus far to kind of translate that in a way that it's chaos, but it's also like digestible. Like you can also see, like, wow, I've never really seen these colors go together like this, but they make sense.
Print with cheetah print with pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, one thing I realized, right? Like everyone nowadays, like you were just speaking about, like everyone got a black and white shoe. Everyone wants to be all black. Everyone wants to be minimalist. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like the easy cop-out way of dressing, right? I can just throw on a black tee.
Yeah.
Dunks or something like that. But it really, like, me, man, really dress and be fly. You can pull everyone's to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even the grills that you make, right? Like, you're gonna go make some blue grills, some red grills. You know? That's dope.
Yeah, man. I think that's kind of where just fashion has been, man. Fashion's been a very minimalistic, kind of like, man, shit like a cartoon, kind of like people gotta, you know, people are buying less and they're trying to have more sustainable clothes, and you know they kind of wear the same things all the time. Things that make you feel, you know, things that make you feel comfortable. Things that make you feel like that you can kind of just mix and match a lot of different things. But I think that we're in an industry where some disruption is needed. So you can still love like all your minimal stuff, but you know, I come from an era where you walk in that store and you gravitate right to one shoe and you're like, oh wow, what is this? And I'm just trying to be that shoe on that shelf that people are just kind of like, what is this?
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Do you ever think of like doing what Devlin Carter did, kind of getting into having taking your brand and just making your own shoe, like, you know, mass producing it and all that?
You know, I haven't really thought that deep, man. I think just because as much as like I've always been a fan of shoes, I haven't had the lifelong, like, I just want to make my own shoe kind of thing. Like I think I want to more like explore, like color exploration and be able to prove myself in different spaces. But I know like eventually it will be enough and I want my own shoe, I want my own item. But man, like, and I think that this is also something I've heard Kanye say one time, and man, we don't own these factories that like you're able to really, really like achieve greatness in and stuff, man. It's the reason why you go to Foot Locker and there's not really too many new brands and stuff in there, man. Like these companies, like when you're trying to scale the right way, like you may make your own shoe and you're gonna have to keep it under a certain amount of numbers, because when you start hitting these big numbers and stuff, man, it's gonna be impossible for you to get things done on time. Like they're gonna be like, you know, minimum. You want to work with us, you got to make 3 million pairs. And you think about, damn, who could make 3 million pairs? You know,
I know that's great.
Big dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
Another question for you. So, you know, a lot of your designs are so clean, right? And I have a team of designers, or will you hop on Photoshop yourself? Because you seem like a one-stop shop kind of guy.
Yeah, man. I've learned to use different designers for like almost like when you kind of bringing things in, like you produce, like kind of like producer reasons, like
We'll collaborate. I have no ego, man. Like I just did the loop, like like you know,
like
that's where it starts.
Like I do. I do certain things that I know I do great, but there'll be something simple that I would need to tap into someone and just make the logo. Like me, I'll do the whole design for the shoe. I'll do everything from picking laces to materials to colorways to fabrics to everything, but I need my homie to, you know, put the S in a flower. Like just little things like that, just because I know that he can do that clean. And that can be like just something like, man, one of the shoes I got coming out is like a t-shirt graphic that I didn't even use from a guy that I knew like, now this would be clean on the tongue of a shoe. So it's like, I'm still cool. I know how to kind of like put it all together and collaborate in a certain way. But man, my design background came from like those music days of like needing to make myself some cover art, needing to put together a show flyer, needing to like, you know, they left my name off the flyers, so I got to make my own flyers. So I learned Photoshop through all of that stuff, and through Photoshop, like you got to learn AI because there's only so many things you can do on Photoshop before it starts to, you need to get to the next level. So it's like me,
Photoshop. You are a designer. You would love to say like, you know, like more than just rapper and that. You're kind of like Virgil, man. Like I make music, I design, I make hats, you're just a designer. Like
yeah, man. I definitely will take that crown of, but like I'm a designer for real.
All right, so you mentioned Kanye before, and I know he's been one of your inspirations musically and from a design standpoint. How do you feel about what he's doing now, and not politically and all that stuff, like his design stuff, like the stuff he just dropped, the pods and this weird thing, all that stuff. What is your feelings on the Bulger stuff, and even the music? Like what's going on there?
I think. Please stop. I think
my kids.
No, I'm talking to my kids. My kids are trying to. They're using like I just set up an office. They're using the empty racks as like an amusement park. My kids are climbing through the racks and sliding through.
That's okay. You can play with stuff in your web.
Yeah. No, yeah, but man, like I think that I kind of learned that from music, man. My dad, you know, he works for like ASCAP with like distribution and stuff like that. Like, and he used to always just tell me, man, there's something good in everything. And there's a reason why like people are buying this or listening to it or tuned in. Like, man, I'm pretty sure we all turn on YouTube and see a bunch of stuff in the millions or billions that we're not interested in, but it's some art in it. So I think that at a young age, I kind of learned like to try to find the best part of everything. And I think that also helps you digest things a certain type of way. So what Kanye is doing now, I think it's just somebody who has a rush and gets adrenaline off of trying to take things to another level. And you can see through like the last few years of the Adidas stuff before it went all the way bad, man, trying to figure out how to make things more available, how to make things more sustainable, how to go away from shoelace. I know one of the last initiatives he's working on with New Balance, not with New Balance, with Adidas, was trying to figure out like how to not need laces anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the foam runners were super innovative, and they really pushed like rubber shoes into a whole new lane. And, you know, now I'm not surprised to see him create his own thing and it doesn't have laces, because it seemed like that's what he was trying to accomplish with that.
Would you wear that to a pod? Would you wear the pod?
No, I wouldn't wear that one. I don't think that one interests me too much. But I think that as the design and stuff continues to grow, man, I'm not really like such a fan of all the Rick Owen Balenciaga aesthetic where everything is black. Like as people can see, the things I put out have a lot of color. So like, there's no offense to just everybody loving the black and white aesthetic of these brands and stuff. But man, I just want to put a little. I think colors have energy, and I think put a little color in your life. I don't think you ever put on a pink shirt and you didn't plan to have a good day. So
I agree with that. Yeah, that's why I like. Even the
700, the bright blue.
Yeah,
need the bright.
I sold mine. I sold them. I put them on. I was like, I can't wear these. It's too bright. But I do like bright colors. Those types of stacks. My favorite shoes, the Biotech Dunks.
Yeah.
My favorite shoes. And, just the way that purple and all that, the yellow and all that stuff on there. But yeah, with the way fashion's going nowadays, man, it's like two extremes. Everybody's, now it's moving back into baggier clothes, like super baggy, like baggier than Janko jeans baggy. So I don't even know where that comes from. Being in, you're still in New York, right? So like, what are you seeing in the stream? What is inspiring your personal style right now? What you've been What are you wearing that's different, if anything?
Me, man, I'm always a loungewear, man. I'm always in some sweats or cargos or like some needle jogger pants or something like that. Like I'm always just trying to, I'm just always try to just stay comfortable, man. But I think in New York, I think what's really like motivating me right now is like I just love people that are kind of like, I love the nostalgic stuff, but I do think like the super duper baggy is crazy. Like I love like seeing like the Y2K stuff, because I do think that like 2000s is an era that people try to forget a lot and try to forget quick. Like I guess like when things suck, it is funny to see like this
your Ed Hardy trunks on.
Yeah, like the Get Ready With Me culture seems so obsessed with like True Religion and all that stuff right now. Like because it seemed like people try to act like Jim Jones and them wasn't the flyest people in the world when that was going on. So it's interesting to see how this is going.
I'm just glad that Jim Jones should have been released his own like long johns. Like I didn't know. You know, like what? You know the picture I'm talking about? Yeah, the baby blue long johns.
Yeah,
and you know exactly what photo I'm talking about. Someone used to
like Dipset back then. I was in New York still in 2003 and 4. Like Dipset ran the scene, man. Like the throwback jerseys, the fitted hats. I remember like this whole like because I was in Universal at that time, so we seen them come in and out of there, man. Like everybody, like they just took it. Just the whole Dipset persona was just crazy.
Yeah,
over exaggerated everything. Bandanas, everything was big. It was
him had a chick that was a stoplight that until you put a battery in it, light up.
Oh man, that was quite the time to be alive, man. And then transitioning into like the skinny jeans era, which I could not get into. I was a big guy back then. Still am. I never could rock with that. But
yeah.
But see where it's evolving to. You know how they say, so, but it's fashion and all that. It's like a 10 to 20 year cycle. So now we're headed back into that. But I like see some of the stuff that looks crazy, man, with these big old boots. I want to ask your opinion. And I'm a big fan of Mischief.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what they do? I know it's more like clout chasing and stuff, but how do you feel about what they put out?
I think I love what they do as far as like disruption. I think that every so often like people come along, like kind of like Nip said, like every so often people come along and like they decode the matrix. So I think for them to be able to just continue to do unique campaigns like a giant Fruit Loop or this big blue or just different things like that, or like when they were trying to just get sued, like I think like every campaign was like, how fast can we get sued and stuff like that. Like I love like when it's just try to do stuff, but I don't really love it so much on like a consumer level. I think I love it when it's an experiment. I love when it's like, because, you know, we grew up in this sneaker culture, so we're familiar with people who come along like the Cool Kais and like the Ari who do certain things when like they're able to really like cause like so much attention on themselves with stepping outside of the box that we're programmed to be in. But
yeah,
like on a consumer level, like I don't want to be a part of it. Like I don't want, I haven't seen anything that made me want to own anything, but I appreciate it because I think it shakes the game up and it makes people look at things different.
Not even that, not even the pumps, the Reebok pumps they did were ridiculous, bro. I bought them I want a pair of Omnis. I was like, oh, these are coming out. I bought them. they actually did with the 9.
They're pretty fly
pumps that they got on there. No, they're ridiculous. It's the best Reebok pump out. No, and you can every pump works. It literally every pump.
Oh, really?
Works. I thought it was a joke. It worked.
I have to check those out. Maybe that's the one that kind of, those are the ones that kind of get me. But it's like,
they look good too. They look good too.
We also can't be so hard on people trying to do different things because, like, technically what they're doing is what Bape did. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like, just trying to cause like a riff in our metaverse, pretty much.
Wow. So, like, when it comes to let's go back to music. So, you said you're are you on like a hiatus right now, or are you just like, or are you still not that space so you can work on an album?
No, I don't necessarily think I'm in a hiatus. I think I write a little bit so often. I think I try to exercise my pen and like I try to dust off the mic and do all that stuff as much as possible. But I think from what people are used to from me, from an output, you can kind of say it's a hiatus, because I used to just really just try to keep myself in some type of cycle, man. I tried to put out a album every year, every single year. I try to do things, and right now I'm at, it's gonna be 3 years since I put out a project. So I'm just trying to get, I want to feel comfortable again. But I think every single thing that I've spoke about with you guys, like I got my passion from really being a musician. So I want to pay it forward. I want to be able to take things to another level. Like between me and you like, guys, like I've been invited to like the Interscope office a few times, and I haven't been able to get there yet, but trying to just create product and trying to create a moment with them. So it's kind of like, it's crazy how like, man, I've been rhyming so long, and now it's like, I'm invited to the label office to kind of connect and figure it out and make some money. So it's like, nothing would help to my advantage if I had some present music out.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, in the music industry,
you're really organized.
I was saying, like, in the music industry, anybody's time. I was in the game since I was a teenager. I didn't start making any real moves till 2 years ago. So, and I'm 40 something now. So that's like, you'll especially with hip hop being like as grown as it is now, 50 years in.
Yeah.
You could be a rapper at any time period, any age now, and still garner the same fan base. You don't have to, like conform to whatever the new sounds are, like you had to do in the past. There's grown up hip hop, there's all types of genres now you can mess with and still grab a fan base. So, like, definitely I would never give up on the music. I don't rap and make beats, and I'm like I used to do that, but not my talent. But
get him and Nick on a track, man. Like, why?
That'd be dope. Mix up the
I know, man. That's what's crazy about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember because Phil used to just you got songs with Phil, right, from back in the day.
Yeah, I got a bunch of music with Phil. Phil always tells people I got him outside to make music. He was like, when I met Phil was my roommate, and he technically wasn't my roommate. We're old enough to tell the story. Like, Phil was, he came up to like the college, and he was, he knew like one of my roommates, and like he just never left. But like we became really close in that process. And I was already, man, like, and this is 18, 19 years old. Like, people were still trying to figure out what they wanted to do for a living, and I was already like, yo, check out my mixtape on that Piff this Thursday. Trying to get my homegirl to write me a press release and doing all this stuff at 18 years old. So Phil was just kind of like, yo, this kid been doing this shit forever. Like, I've been J-Tips consistently, even if it's been me just trying to do different things forever. So Phil's is like somebody that I always got love for and shit like that.
Send me all your music. I was going through my emails, and I'm like, he would just be like, J-Tips X Phil Walker, you know what I mean? And shout out to Phil Walker, man. If anyone that's watching this, man, Phil's a guy from Harlem, super.
And shout out to Phil.
Yeah.
Super fly dude, super selfless, you know what I mean? He hooked this interview up with Jay right now, you know what I mean? I appreciate you, Phil. Just a bunch of New York kids, man. That 2012 era was so beautiful, man. Like, I was just working with ASAP at the time, and we were popping up. Phil was popping up. We were trying to make cool visuals, all that type of stuff. And to see you never give up, man, that's dope, man. Like, I'm always gonna look at you, man. Like, J-Tips that does that,
No, I appreciate that, man. That feels good to know that, like, I've been able to, and I've learned a lot about that in this process, man. Like, being in some of these interviews, of course, like, I'm showing up as J-Tips, the collaborator of Saucony or the collaborator of New Era. But people mention the music, and they mention, like, watching me be able to make mistakes, or seeing me in their inbox for a long time, or seeing me outside, or seeing me at events and stuff like that. But just such a long time that I do want to, like, I think that's my goal. If I have a goal for myself, is to the momentum that I've been able to create or swing my way through fashion, I would love to create even a run of just give them my best foot forward to the music again. Even if it's just solid projects, solid visuals, solid, like, you know, just everything that come forward, man. I wasn't even verified the last time I put out music. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I need to just, this whole new repackage that I've had in fashion, I need to put that over through, like, my music.
What's your biggest tip to people as far as being an influencer? What's your biggest tip out there to market yourself?
I would just say don't box yourself in, man. I think a lot of people are really, really sold on wanting to do one thing. Like man, like people will sit here and put all their marbles in one container, hoping that Nike wants to work with them. And if they just pivoted their vision, they'll be getting shoes from every single brand. Like they'll be getting shoes from New Balance and Asics and stores and doing stuff. Instead, some people are just kind of sitting on their hands waiting for like Nike to choose them or Adidas to choose them. So I just think that don't really limit yourself, put yourself in the box and kind of do the work. Like I think nobody's just gonna holler at you. Like you got to kind of like do the work. Like as much as even Phil put together this connection for us, like it was still like a lot of work. So it's like if anybody's even watching this, like, hey, I want to talk to these guys and I want to do this. Like there's a lot of work that goes into all of that stuff before anybody even wants to talk to you or wants to work with you, wants to be around you.
Yeah.
Just gotta do the work, man. But I want to continue to do the work.
You gotta know how to record your own music. You gotta know how to pick.
No, you have to. That's the thing. With marketing and all that. You have to understand the how to, and it's consistency. You know, you have to post on IG every day. You have to sometimes get on those lives. You did pop-ups. You did all types of stuff to get recognized, and that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people that, and it's funny because I heard you on Sneak This and Greg and Joey. I don't know if you still talk with either one of them, but those are the homies there. And this is when I went to Arizona, I was on their show. And I told them, look, bro, you got to market yourself better. I mean, like, look, you got 50, 60,000 people downloading your shit every week.
Yeah.
You're not getting seated shoes, all this type of stuff and all that. But why? Like, you have to figure out why. And it's because, you know, the marketing of yourself and all that type of stuff. And as great as their content may be, what you're doing, what we're trying to do here is exactly what they need to be doing to get to that next level. And I think that speaks for anybody trying to put themselves out there on these platforms. So
for sure, man. I think sometimes you can't be afraid to have a conversation. You can't be afraid to ask someone for some help to pull you off, or even like to shoot that DM, man, and make some things shake, man. I gotta holler at them too, man, because I was on their show when I created the Bespoke, man. I got 3 shoes in, and I haven't spoke to them in a minute. Like, and I know they fans of hats, and so I haven't spoken to them.
I'll shoot the DM. Great. Like I'm you can just tell them I said. You can tell them I said what's up. Just tell them it's on love. You got your numbers probably. I'll tell them. Because they definitely have you back on the show for real.
Yeah,
they do it every other week now, but they're still doing their thing. I have one last question. This is sneaker related because I'm going to post some of this on my YouTube. How do you feel about UA sneakers? Like, what's your perspective on? And would you find it flattering if they UA'd your shoe?
What do you mean by UA?
UA, fake sneakers.
Unauthorized?
Unauthorized.
Oh,
man. Whatever you want to call it. How do you feel about that? Are you purist? Are you like one of these? Is this crazy people? I don't know.
Man, I think that we are in desperate times, man. I think that the fact that like marketing has hit anybody that strong that like you just want this version so much that you'll do that. Like, I think like it's kind of like what I was saying, man. It's like this day you go on this store and it's gonna be the same colorway, but this one's available. Like, you can't jump out the window for this color that bad. Like, I think, man, I just think that, like, you know, to each his own. I think everybody's gonna do what they want to do, but it's kind of like it's the wrinkle in the matrix of like if people not able to get it, they're gonna find a way to get it, even if it's another version of it. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. But if I see people doing it, like I just mind my business, man. I'm not judging nobody.
Yeah, I used to be one of those judgy people. I just got over it because I actually befriended one of these fake sneaker guys. He's funny. You know that Troll Mageddon guy? You know Troll?
Oh, no, I probably got to check him out.
Oh, no, he's funny. He does this funny thing. He roasts like everybody. But I had a long conversation with him about this because I used to be like my whole YouTube channel was like dissing people who wore fake sneakers. I thought after a while, I was like, I was just stupid. And it got to it got to a certain point where I was just like, I don't even care. And then I'm like, you said, but would you spend like a couple of G's on an exclusive shoe though? If it was something you couldn't get?
I have. I definitely have.
Oh yeah. I heard the story about the Yeezy. The Yeezy you bought.
Yeah, I've spent some money. I spent some money on some Yeezys. I've spent some money on like a Cactus Plant Dunk before. I'm trying to think of anything else. I've spent some money on other people's gifts. But I just think like the temptation for me, I think just because I've been maybe just collecting shoes so long in my life, like I understand like that thrill when it comes to certain things. It's just like it's so gone the moment after you own the shoe. It's almost like Pokemon, like you just want to obtain it. Like the moment you obtain it, like you still might not wear it for 8 months or 7 months or something. You just want to own it. And I think that's also like, man, I'm not trying to get into a deep conversation about like American culture where like we have like a problem with possessing things and stuff like that. And I think that has a lot to do with like what some of these brands are doing to us. Like they know that people gonna jump through hoops and shit to just kind of possess something, to own it. But it's like, I try to stay away from that.
I'm 600 pairs deep. I'm in my liquidation phase of my sneaker head status because I started late just to relive my nostalgia. And I still haven't gotten my Grail shoe. Freaking Deion Sanders Diamond Turf. I could go buy it.
I had a Diamond Turfs. You talking about the green and black ones?
Nah, the red and black. The
big black diamond. They're sneaker. A lot of people.
That's my favorite shoe, and I still have not gotten them. But I'm sitting here buying Travis Scott's and all this other crap. But it is what it is. I don't know. I'm Taz. You got any more questions for Jay?
Jay, man. I see a lot of the inspiration you get from like the colors and stuff. But like, what's a soundtrack? Post in your head when you're creating, man. It don't necessarily have to be you or anything, but like, what's your inspiration musically too? And I'm sure music was an inspiration on your design too. I know you got.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been listening to a lot of Bryson Tiller, man, which is like surprising. Like I think like
I've heard that name in a while.
I think a lot of like Views, Drake, like Scorpion, Drake. I think I've always been a fan of introspective music because I'm also like a fan of like puzzles and things that like you have to really, really dig deep on. Like you have to like dig deep into like your subconscious to be able to come out with things that are beautiful. So like, like the J. Cole's and stuff like that. That's been those are like my musical inspirations. But like when I'm like designing, like I really like just sonically kind of being in like just people kind of like speaking about emotions in a way that seems soft, like in a way that you kind of, because a lot of times when you're dealing with colorways and trying to kind of flush out your ideas, you're trying to figure out how to get through a storm. So I think like Conway, Bryson Tiller, and like a little bit of like View, Scorpion, kind of Drake.
So you definitely have sinister, man. Like you can hear something and hear a color.
Yeah,
your color, right?
Yeah.
See sounds.
Pharrell.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you, man. I think we got a lot of good stuff here. Just shout out like your socials and all that stuff. If you want, put it at the bottom, obviously. Let people know what you're doing next.
Of course, man. My favorite part about like doing meet and interviews and podcasts and stuff like this is these are the pieces that people go back to when they're trying to learn more about me and learn more about my journey. So, a year from now, this is another piece of evidence of everything that I've been able to do. So, I just, I'm happy that you guys chose me to chop it up with me and stuff. And, it's also like, you can find me on, JAETIPS, JAETIPS on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and, my brand is Savior Worldwide, and we got a lot of good stuff coming. So I want people to just tap in, stay in tune.
Designer, the musician, the marketing guy, everything, and I love
family man too.
Family man, you're very nice, man. Like it's hard to build a discography together and put it all together.
Yeah.
I can know about you. You're very. I tell you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I've always tried to feel like I had to put the package together for everything, man. If anybody had anything to question, it's like, no, he got it. He got the visuals, he got the marketing, he got the product. So I think taking that into what I'm doing now is like the best part.
All right, brother. Well, Jay Tips, thank you. You are a second.
Yeah, thank you guys, man.
I'd love to have you back as soon as, you next time you drop something, whatever, obviously we'll all be in a bigger, better place by then, but much love and thank you so much for being on.
Oh, yeah, no, let's get it. I appreciate you guys, man. I wish you guys the best.
Listen, anything you need on the marketing, promoting stuff, man, we'd love to help you too.
Oh yeah, let us know anything about that.
Oh yeah, let's definitely have another convo about that, and we just figure it out how to make it all make sense.
Appreciate you.
Good, brother. All right.
Thank you guys have a good one.
All right. Have a happy New Year.
All right, you too, guys. All right.